Hi, Andrea Clausen here, and today we are going to chat about the five senses and how to use them throughout your day. So obviously the five senses, we use them every day. And what often happens is we don't always notice that, when we feel out of our body a little anxious, or if we feel really depressed or just often we've kind of let go of those five senses and connecting in with our body again. So that's one of the main reasons I personally like to use the five senses. So next time that you go on a walk out in nature, especially in the wintertime, it's a great time to do this. But notice, stop and pause when you're on a walk, especially if you're on a wooded trail that doesn't have traffic nearby. And just pause. Maybe you want to sit, if you have snow pants on, sit down in the snow if you have snow, or just sit down on the grass and just notice. Close your eyes and just kind of use your senses. What do you hear? Maybe you feel the earth. What do you feel? What do you feel on your skin? Maybe there's wind blowing. What do you hear? What do you see? So maybe you open your eyes and look around. Look close, look far, look in between the trees. Taste you can do if there's white snow beside you, if you have snow. Otherwise, only taste if you know what you're tasting out in nature. And really kind of tune into those things. How are our senses directing us? Now you might notice a lot of us, our eyes get a lot of work during the day, especially on the computer. So going outside, sometimes they get really sensitive to the bright light. So, making sure you're wearing the sunglasses if you need to. Same thing with the ears, because our ears, once we get out in the wind, that we can get a little bit of vata ungrounded if we're not covering them up. So making sure that we're covering up our ears just to protect us from that wind and from that cold element. Same thing with wearing a hat. Wearing a hat will help you stay grounded versus those earpieces. So I do have some of those ears, the bands that go around your ears, but it can also unground you because it's going to be a little bit, you're not having that grounding effect of the hat going over your head, because that's where we let off the most heat. And so if we're covering it, we can stay grounded, we can keep that heat in. But on the really cold days, what's happening, we're losing that heat, that vata dosha tends to start to flare up. So really checking in with yourself and noticing, okay, here's what I need a little bit more of today. Same thing before you have meals. It's a great thing to do if you have kiddos, is just sit at the table and ask, this is what my smell scent is doing. And what do you smell? Maybe you smell your food, and then you look at your food. Maybe you hear the food. Maybe you touch the food, your own food, and then maybe you taste the food after. So you can kind of get all five senses in when you're doing the meal. And this is a great way for kids to kind of slow down and really think about what they're eating. And they might realize, or even adults might realize, hey, you know what? This food that I thought I hated actually isn't too bad if I really take it in with all my senses, instead of just the smell. If we just kind of smell it, we're or even looking at it, some people are oh, purple food, no thank you. Then if you actually taste it and take the time to work through the senses, you might be yeah, that's actually not too bad. So think about other ways that you can incorporate this into your day. I'm going to do a quick one right now for the eyes, because I think it is really important to make sure we're getting that break from the computer. So what you can do is you can have a pen out in front of you. So you might have, back away from your computer. You'll have your pen out in front and you'll just kind of look at the tip of the pen. Just like at the eye doctor, when they go in, you're going to go trace that pen in with your eyes. You're going to go cross-eyed until you see about 2 pins or touches, and then you're just going to release. Close your eyes, blink it out, release. And then you can start in and work your way out and follow it. The next idea that you can do for your eyes, just to kind of release that, is look out in the horizon. So I personally set my computer up so I can look out my window. Now look out. So maybe you'll take a 90-second break and I'll just kind of look and notice. And in the wintertime, there's not much movement going on. It's pretty still. I just happened to see a car drive by on the neighboring street. You might see a squirrel run up on a tree. And so you just kind of notice outside for 90 seconds. Then you'll close your eyes. And then you'll notice inside. How is the inside feeling? Inside your body. And so then you're going to kind of open your eyes again, look out for 60 seconds, close your eyes, feel in for 60 seconds. And notice if it's easier to attune to the outside nature versus your inside nature. Or maybe it's easier for the inside versus outside. So really pay attention. Can you ground in your body pretty easily? Or can you ground externally pretty easy? And there's no right or wrong or better or worse. It's just kind of noticing what your innate nature is. So for myself, I'm pretty good. I close my eyes. I'm good at tuning into myself. Going out, my thoughts tend to get distracted more. I'm oh, look at there. Oh, look at this. And then I pop in, oh, I should really do XYZ for work. Or, oh, I need to get my dishes done. Or, oh yeah, what time does my son have this at? So you start to go all over versus internally I can close my eyes and really focus in on like, come back to my body, come back to my breath. So just kind of notice what your preference is and then just kind of say, okay, you know what? I really got to work on that. I really got to work on, can I go outside in nature and not have any devices and just explore and just be? And that can be your first way to kind of start to ground into those. And internally, if you're struggling, coming back to that meditation practice, you know, if you have a meditation practice, closing your eyes and really tuning in and just focusing on internally on the body. Start at the toes, work your way up to your head, check in with every body part. Now, my final thing with the eyes, I actually have a pair of these that I love, blue light blockers, because a lot of us are spending a lot of time on the computers. Putting on a pair of these, it does help. Like you can kind of see the different, these don't look like glasses because they have a little glare. But this will help you, especially if you're just staring at a computer all day, to help you go to sleep at night. So notice if you're on a computer, if you're on your phone, a couple hours before bedtime is when you want to get off of it. And if you're struggling to fall asleep, notice if you're working all the way up, or if you're on your phone, even just kind of scrolling or just, you know, picking it up during commercial breaks, if anyone has commercials anymore, but picking it up sporadically, that could be keeping you up at night or getting you up in the middle of the night, because we can't fully shut down because we've just been exposed to so much blue light. So I know personally, when I have a long computer day, I really can feel it and I struggle to stay asleep the whole night. I usually always am up at 3 o'clock. So my goal is always to kind of really monitor my computer time, make sure I have my glasses on, take my breaks, and so I can really embody the practices and give my eyes the rest so they don't have, so it's not the main sense that I'm using all day long, is just staring out with my eyes, and that can drive that pitta out of balance, because when the eyes are out of balance, it's associated with the pitta. So what happens there is just then you get more work. You want to do more work and keep going and going, because that's the pitta nature. So that is what I have for you on the 5 senses. Let me know how this goes. Try a few activities, see what resonates best for you.